Coming up in the news, the ABACO business community expressing optimism. Baseball returning to Grand Bahama. And a young man pleading for financial assistance for much-needed medical attention. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Megan Shepard. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping the news, this year has been a period of rebuilding for the people of ABACO after massive devastation in 2019 due to Hurricane Dorian. For many, to this point, it has been a test of endurance as they have had to build from the ground up. Well, in this report, the leader of the business community says they are looking forward to the year ahead. President of the ABACO Chamber of Commerce, Ken Hutton, says that he is happy to see progress being made on that northern island. As more homes are rebuilt and businesses reopen, Hutton believes these are good signs that will aid in getting the once thriving economy back on track.
What I see is that there's definitely a sense of optimism is returning. We're not back to the amount of people that we had before the storm. They are returning. As homes become available, as homes get rebuilt, people are able to return and businesses are able to reopen. So, yeah, we're very, very enthusiastic about what's going to happen. And we think that 2021 is definitely going to be the turnaround year for ABACO.
As the VAT exemptions were set to expire at the end of 2020, Hutton was one of those persons lobbying for an extension for residents of ABACO and Grand Bahama. He says he's pleased that the government obliged.
Very grateful that the contingency orders were extended through the end of June. There are other issues that we still want to speak about, but I think it's a great start. It's definitely needed, and I think it'll act as a real catalyst to get some of these people that were not able to return to be able to come back and get started in the new year.
He expands on some of those challenges.
Schools, obviously, I mean, we seem to be able to have some of the schools back reopen now. We just need their permission to get them to be able to operate, which as a chamber we are definitely pushing for. Some of the other challenges, again, the infrastructure. Our port facility is still in a damaged state, so we are very concerned about that. We need work on the airport, a lot of infrastructure stuff. Electricity is being returned to most of ABACO. We've still got a big chunk between Treasure Key and Marsh Harbor that has to be rewired, and they are working on that. So, I mean, it is coming together. It's never as fast as anyone wants, but it is coming together.
Well, 2021 is just 2 days away, and some are looking forward to the new year, as it is a time when many reset. Tonight, the Minister of Disaster Preparedness, Management and Reconstruction is sharing some of his goals for the new year. He says Bahamians can expect to see more work done throughout the community. Italia Hall reports.
The Minister of State for Disaster Preparedness, Management and Reconstruction, the Honorable Iram Lewis, says he's optimistic about 2021. He says a big accomplishment for him in Central Grand Bahama is the community garden near the International Bazaar. He says it is a project that he plans to continue.
We intend to put a children's play area here where children can come and they can relax, have high visibilities. We put them in a safe zone. Parents can come now and you walk through, have some relaxing moment. Even if you want to exercise, put some running trails in. The Soccer Federation said that they will put up some nets, some goalposts where they can have 2-on-2 soccer tournaments, soccer matches. It'll be a nice, positive outdoor areas.
And when it comes to NEMA in 2021, he says he's looking forward to building capacity.
Institutional capacity as well as assets. Persons to be properly trained in disaster management and recovery. We're seeing that happen across the board now in the Bahamas. We want decentralized NEMA. We don't want to be NASA-centric with NEMA. We want to have an outpost in Grand Bahama. We do have an outpost in Inago. We want to build on that. ABACO, we want to increase capacity in ABACO. Throughout the islands of the Bahamas, we want to ensure that NEMA is decentralized so any island can respond adequately until help come from another island as necessary.
There's a major change that Minister Lewis hopes will begin to unfold in the year ahead. Young Bahamians making disaster management a profession.
Because there's certainly a need. In this country, we are highly exposed. We are identifying all the risks that we are exposed to. And we have to continue to identify those risks and minimize areas that we can eliminate certain risks. We will. The risk of storm surge is something that we really can't do, except build back better. With 80% of our land mass being within 5 feet of the mean sea level, there will always be an issue with flooding. So we have to build around those areas. There will be some no-build zones declared where you have to move inland or you have to elevate.
And as for the small home repair program that will continue in 2021, he says the Bahamas government cannot sustain that program in the future, and the discussion about insurance needs to begin.
Have it where insurance is affordable. Maybe hurricane insurance is in order. We need to now perhaps structure that where a person can now pay insurance so that in the event of a hurricane, they can now draw on that, as opposed to the Bahamas government doing it, because there's no way possible we can continue that program.
And with hours left before the start of a brand new year, Minister Lewis says Bahamians must have faith that things will get better.
We must always, within ourselves, believe. And of course the Bible says faith without works is dead. So having faith, you have to step out there as individuals, because this is a partnership. We are encouraging everybody from Central Grand Bahama, from ABACO to Inago, hold each other's hand. We cannot do this alone. This is not a government problem. This is all of our problem. It's not PLP, not FNM, not DNA, not independent. This is our problem. So we must do away with this political polarization and act as nationalists. We have to from that perspective, build a better Bahamas as one.
Italia Hall, ZNS Network News.
Significant progress being made on the construction of the Champs Youth Center in Hawksville. The facility will be home to the Falcons Boys Club, and Director Darren Roll is pleased with the progress to date. Jamila Mizik has the story.
The Falcons Boys Club has been mentoring young men in the Grand Bahama community for more than 20 years, and thanks to community involvement, Director Darren Roll says the Boys Club's recreational facility, the Champs Community Center in the Hawksville area, is 85 to 90% completed.
We just want to say how thankful we are to all of the residents and the business community here on the island of Grand Bahama, that in spite of all that has been going on, the community has really stepped up and being able to help the Falcons Boys Club try to complete phase number 1 of this property. Thank you again so much to the Grand Bahama Port Authority, international partner Champs Missions, and basically all of the business community here on the island of Grand Bahama from East End to West End over the past 18 months have actually chipped in, being able to help us to get so far with this project.
He says, thankfully, the challenges brought on by Hurricane Dorian and the COVID-19 pandemic have not affected progress on the center.
No matter how slow or how fast it was going, we're very thankful, especially since Hurricane Dorian and COVID-19 with all the stuff that's going on. If people literally pass here on Grand Bahamian Highway, you're actually looking at a miracle. For us to be able to complete where we are now, at the end of this completion is going to be some $400,000 to $500,000 that has actually been invested into this first phase project. At the opening ceremonies, which we are hopefully scheduled for March of next year, we're going to be pushing another piece of property for phase number 2.
Roll is thanking the Grand Bahama community for their continued support.
January 14, 2021 will give us 24 years of mentoring. We have never had a facility that is our own. And all the stuff and the success that people have seen the Falcons Boys Club had, we have had that because we were working out of Tabernacle Baptist Christian Academy and Tabernacle Baptist Church. And for us to be able to have this now, there's going to be no setback. Every program that you could think of to be able to reach young men, working with the police, working with the courts, our own programs, our basketball programs, our big boys conferences that we host on 5 different islands. All of these are going to be able to migrate now here at the Champs Community Center. We're going to be working with all of the business communities when it comes to training our young men, informing our young men of the various vocations that they would have, especially the industrial area here on the island of Grand Bahama. And I think this property that we eventually end up getting, after looking at about 15 to 20 different properties, this really was God ordained for us to be able to be here.
He says they're looking to begin phase 2 of the project in April 2021, and if you're looking to contribute to the Falcons Boys Club, you can call 441-5620. Jamila Missick, ZNS Network News.
The Ministry of Health confirming 11 new cases of COVID-19 yesterday. Those new cases bringing the country's total of confirmed cases to 7,857. Of those 11 new cases, 5 are in New Providence and 6 in Grand Bahama. A total of 15 cases are hospitalized. 2 of those cases are in hospital on Grand Bahama. There were 44 reported recoveries, and the death toll now stands at 170. Now to news from the court. Prince Jennings, age 39 years, of Pinehurst Drive, South Bahama, was arraigned yesterday before Deputy Chief Magistrate Debbie Ferguson in Magistrate Court Number 1. He was arraigned on stealing by reason of employment, acquisition of proceeds of criminal conduct, and making a false report. He pled not guilty to all charges and was granted bail on counts number 1 and 2 in the amount of $700 each, and on count number 3, he was granted bail in the amount of $500. The case was adjourned to Wednesday, February 10th, 2021. Now, this is a matter in connection to a complaint reported to the 8 Mile Rock Police Station, where the accused reported that he was held up by gunpoint by unknown males and robbed of cash belonging to a business establishment where he was employed. But police say further aggressive investigation by officers from the Criminal Investigation Department resulted in Jennings being arrested and monies recovered. A man who sustained injuries in a car accident in the area of Hannah Hill almost 2 weeks ago has died. Police say the victim was driving a brown Honda Accord east on Queens Highway with a passenger around 10 p.m. on December 18th when he lost control of the vehicle, crashed into a chain link fence, slammed into 3 vehicles, and then into a brick wall. The driver and passenger were both ejected from the vehicle. They were taken to the hospital, and the driver of the car, a 21-year-old resident of Sanderling Circle, recently passed away. Police are appealing to the public to buckle up and drive within the speed limit. And a young man who was involved in another deadly accident about 2 weeks ago on East Sunrise Highway is talking to our Jamila Missick tonight. He says he's in desperate need of financial support to assist with much-needed medical attention.
19-year-old Brandon Stubbs was one of 3 persons involved in a deadly car accident on Grand Bahama just days before the Christmas holiday. To this day, he says he's unable to recall much about what happened.
I was coming from out, and the only thing I could remember was passing Lucayan Medical, and then I wake up outside of the car. I didn't know what happened. I was unconscious, and I keep passing out. And then when I wake up, I remember I was in an ambulance going to the hospital, and then from then they tell me what happened to me.
His family says in less than 24 hours, he was discharged from the hospital. Brandon says he still experiences a lot of pain and is now unable to do simple daily tasks, but one of his more serious injuries is to his right eye.
I could see out of it, but I seen like different colors and like it blurry, and I can't really open it like too long because I can't see that good.
He says he is grateful to be alive, but admits he is still trying to cope with the loss of a very good friend.
I mean, I'm thankful to be alive here today, even though I have a couple injuries. I mean, I lost a friend. It was a good friend. It's like anything I asked for, I could get it from him. He was never no mean person. He's always a fun person, like someone you could always be around. And like,
Brandon's mother, Enid Rule MacDonald, describes the moment she heard the news.
When I got the call, all I did was pass the phone to my husband, because the only thing I heard was your son was in a very bad accident. And then he came on the phone and he said, "Mommy, He said, I'm hurt really bad. I'm really messed up, and I don't want to die like this. He said, please come.
Brandon now has to have eye surgery and a skin graft to correct his facial injuries. The recent high school graduate plans to further his education abroad next year, but he's hoping that he'll still be able to do so. His mother says the unexpected medical cost is a financial strain on their family, as Brandon was insured, but they recently found out that he was dropped from the insurance and they're not sure what the treatment will cost, which is why they're seeking the public's assistance.
The last visit to the ophthalmologist here, she referred him to Bascom Palmer because she's questioning retinal detachment, and so we need to get there as soon as possible because the longer we stay, the worse his condition can become.
Family friend Darren Cooper is encouraging anyone who can help to assist.
He's a young man, and we don't want for this to later on down in life to affect him. And so we stand with them to make the appeal to the Grand Bahama community. We're stronger together, and I think every little helps, and the sooner the better. And so just want to be able to solidify that this family is in need of financial assistance to be able to get their son Brandon off the island. And whatever we can do, Grand Bahama, let's do it. Not just Grand Bahama, but anyone that sees the need to make the donation to the GoFundMe page.
Interested persons can donate using the GoFundMe page or a Commonwealth Bank account number 705-504-7999. Jamila Mizik, ZNS Network News.
Stay with us. There's more news right after this break.
With the kids jingle belling and everyone telling you